What's good, everybody? We are so glad to be back in the house one more time. What is good, Free?
What's good, Miss Lester? We back again.
We back.
a lot,
I
lot to talk
know
about.
we do, and so it's very important that we we're getting back on schedule again. We took, a nice good man, it's been what, 6, 7 months? Longer than
Little
that?
hiatus, little hiatus.
A little hiatus. But we're getting back into the routine again. A lot has occurred during those months and family dynamics. My children are going to go back to school. A lot's
Right.
happened, but we are
Cross
happy.
country moves. So yeah,
Cross country moves.
yeah.
And we're just happy to be back. Before we hit the discussion button,
Mm.
we want to first give a shout out to our show sponsor. We have tonight a insurance agency. They are agent. Miss Ebony, she is top notch.
Mm.
We our home with BIA insurance. You give her a call, and I promise you, you won't be.
Hey, take care of yourself all the way around. Your life, your car, and half of us want to start a business. She got the commercial side too.
Commercial side. You know what? That's the only thing we don't have with her. Commercial.
Boom.
Hey, but you know what? I'm 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 saying that, putting that out there. We're gonna have Miss Ebony, we're gonna see you for that commercial real soon. Tonight we have
Yeah.
a it's, man, it's getting dirty out. We got a very controversial discussion tonight.
Mm.
Uh and I think the presidential election campaign has really brought
Ooh.
this discussion about.
Mm.
And I'm asking you guys, can women be head of the household?
Mm.
Can they lead? And I ask this question primarily because of the presidential campaign, but also women are now starting to become huge in leadership now. Uh, Let me get this quote right. In as of 2022,
Mm.
2022, women hold about 28% of senior management roles globally.
Mm.
This is according to Grant Thornton's Women in Business report. So that was 2022, 28%.
Mm.
So I'm sure it probably went up a
Probably
percent,
about 30 by now. Mm.
probably about 30 by now. And so now the question, can women be head of household? And also let's also throw the stat out that 80% of single parent households are ran by women.
Mm. Mm.
Another stat that kind of threw me out, because then they're like, okay, well, that's single women, but what about
Right.
households that have dual incomes? I looked that up for y'all.
Mm.
In dual household incomes, a 2017 study found that 29% of heterosexual dual income marriages,
Mm,
and woman, both of them working, women earned the same or more than their
mm,
husbands.
hmm,
29%. So we're seeing women in a lot more of the breadwinner
hmm.
leadership type roles. And I'm wondering, what has your personal experience been like
Mm,
with, let's say, have you experienced a successful
hmm.
where a woman was leading the household, or you had a female supervisor, manager,
Okay.
etc. And what was
Um,
that experience like?
so yes, I have had that experience. I grew up, I was raised by my grandmother. It was me and her in the house, woman leading the household. She also raised my dad, my uncle, and my two aunts by herself. She was married, they got divorced. Of course, even back then, it was, kids stay with mom, dad goes off, does his thing. So she was the head of household for two generations.
Wow.
So I was able to come up under a household that busted myths because
Mhm.
we still got this out here. Can women be the head of household? Well, yeah, they can. And then number two was women can't raise no man. Um, a lot of discussions that start with men versus women or vice versa,
Mm.
I've come to realize should be human conversations because it's not a matter of capability. It's not a matter of can a man or can a woman do it. It is should they have to do it? And if they have to do it, how successful can they be?
Ah,
So, so I do think that women can be the head of household. Now, I think what we confuse is those stats with what goes on in the household. Just because she makes more money doesn't mean that she has to be the head of the household. Now, IRS standards or whatever, maybe so. It's a lot of marriage has become business. So
mm,
if you look at it that way, then if my woman is making more money than me, then yeah, we're gonna put her on there for whatever the tax benefit is or whatever it is. But should she have to be? Is the better question, which I think is no. She shouldn't have to be unless it's just her. But if there's kids, if there's a significant other, she shouldn't have to be. Now, that also goes back to how you choose your mate because if you're choosing a mate based
uh,
on having money, then yeah, that's why we see all those posts of. I just saw one that was so ridiculous. A chick, very attractive, and this is the issue. They're very attractive, and they're saying that these are the requirements to date this attractive woman. What guy doesn't want to date an attractive woman? So they're making up the rules. She says you got to get her hair done, you got to get her nails done, you got to get her wig installed, you got to get her lashes done. We going to breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I think the total was like $1,800 for a first date. Like I don't even know you. So head of household, do they even want that responsibility? That I think that's the deeper question. Should they? Do they want the responsibility? And how does that dynamic work inside the family? So I was privy to a situation where for years the woman made more than the man. They were married, had a kid. I honestly don't think that the guy paid attention to her making more money than him because it was never an issue. Then it became an issue and it led to divorce. So a lot of topics I think are ego driven because for me, for a mature guy that is secure in himself, knows, that he's the man of the house,
Mm.
I don't care. You just, it's all coming out of here. So yeah, bring it on in.
I,
Herschel,
I totally agree with you.
I
I
don't I don't think they
honestly,
want
I
the
don't want
role.
that. I don't want that smoke.
See? And that's okay.
I don't want that smoke. And for some women, they like the control.
Hmm.
They like having the final say. And that's fine if that works for your household.
Hmm.
I also know that God created us to be the support for the man, that God created the man to be a leader, dominion over the animals, the earth. And with that comes a lot of responsibility.
Hmm.
Not to mention, when it is time for us to hit those pearly gates, God's gonna look at my
All of that.
significant other and be like, I created you to be the
Mm.
head, to lead.
Mm.
What happened, bro?
Mm. I'd love to be a fly on the gate to see what the reply would be. Um,
So, but because, and we've had this discussion before about gender roles
mm,
changing because of we live in this more modern world, societal norms are different.
mm,
um I don't want to get a whole lot into politics, just because, as I previously shared with you, I wholeheartedly think that the devil is doing a really good job of separating black men from black women during this presidential campaign.
mhm,
But from a societal expectation and stereotypes,
mm.
do you think we are ready to have a woman lead the country's household?
Mm, mm. Ooh.
And again, we don't have to get into all, because, like I said, I don't want to separate
So
us,
I'll give you this.
but
I'll
from
give
a
you this.
societal standpoint.
I'll give you this. From a societal standpoint, I'm going to say no,
Mm.
because I don't think society as a whole has accepted women in leadership. As you say, 30% are in leadership. So that goes to show that, I mean, it's getting better. It has gotten better, but it's not quite accepted yet. Um, and I also think that you look at how has she run the house. We do,
Mm.
we don't know, right? So there, every other vice president we've seen, they've had some type of action. They've had some type of motion. They've been politically out there, and I don't really know. And this is strictly judging her on what she has done or what she has contributed to. Like, she's been absent for a lot.
Mm.
Pretty face, wave, get your attention, but I mean, I don't know what she has done. So from that standpoint, I think society is looking at, okay, well, if she hasn't done anything, when she get in there, what is she gonna do?
Mm.
So, and maybe I haven't paid enough attention. Who's running with her? What support does she have? So a lot of times, the leaders are only as great as their help. So,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's why Joe might not have been so great. Ain't have as much help. So, who's her help gonna be? I think that's where society stands on being ready or not for a woman in the White House. Like, it's a proof position. Show me what you've done.
Show me the money, baby.
Yeah, as I sit in the show me state. Yeah.
So, because there's so much we could say, but we definitely want to keep this discussion moving forward. Um, b- because I'll be quite honest. I think also with society is not ready because we haven't had other great examples.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the city mayor of Chicago, the
Mm,
city mayor of Dalton,
yeah.
not a good look.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think that too has people wondering,
Mm-hmm.
can can these women do the job?
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
factors that factor
Yeah. I
into,
think what you
some women
said.
don't do as typically as well in politics,
Mm-hmm.
as their male counterparts.
Mm,
But yeah, I don't think society's ready.
yeah, and what something you said that was really small. I don't think it's that society's not ready for a woman in politics. I don't think they're ready for this woman.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's what it is because even if you don't like Donald Trump, we know what he's done already. Whether you like him or not, we've got some evidence. We have something,
We know what we're getting. We know what
right?
we're getting.
And now the question is, do you want what you know you're going to get, or are you going to risk the unknown? Now, I think had it been another man, the risk of the unknown might have more favor.
Hmm.
But I, I think the risk of the unknown with a woman and this particular woman is what will affect it.
Hmm. Okay.
Now, so and I'll bring this up as well. I saw a Umar clip, but he had a very valid point, and it was an old clip of her, and they asked, "What is she going to do specifically for Black people?" And the part of the clip that showed her response was, "I'm not going to do anything in particular for just Black people." And I
Hmm.
believe the rest of it, because it wasn't shown, I believe the rest of the quote was, "I'll do things that help everyone because what helps Black people helps everyone."
Everybody.
Now, where Umar comes in is he said, "Well, why couldn't you say that when you and Joe passed the bill for what was it, Asian Pacific Islanders only when they were getting attacked in Atlanta at the nail salon? You passed a Native American only act since you guys have been in there. You've passed a LGBTQ only act why is it so far fetched to have something that would be Black only?" So I think that hurts. Um, yeah, yeah, you gotta
We
watch.
can have a discussion about this all night. long. And we just might have to because whew, as I said earlier, this country, like you do the computer a hard reset, we straight up need to do a hard reset
Yeah,
with this country.
yeah.
And sadly enough, we have a long ways till November. So I'm sure it's gonna be a lot more for us to talk about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So it kind of, you know, digressing a little bit, what do you think are some exceptional qualities that a woman in leadership possesses
Mm.
that maybe work, I shouldn't say better, but that most men typically don't? And specifically, I know a lot of people, and to me, this could be a pro or a con, you know, and I wholeheartedly believe we as women are emotional creatures.
Mhm. And can be, but but see, that's the thing right there. It's not just women. I'm emotional.
Mm,
I'm a man. I'm emotional. I got emotions. I love. I hate. I have all those emotions. And see, that's the thing. We try to lock so many things into a gender. It's not like that. And I know what you mean by emotional. Am I emotional like a woman? No, I'm not. But I have emotions too, and we react out of them sometime as a man. You pissed off, you slam a door. Guess what? You just acted out of emotion. So I hate when men say that, oh, you acting like a woman. Or no, you're acting like a human that has real emotions.
mm.
So not just women slam the door when they're upset, right? I mean, but I digress. The exceptional qualities that I believe women have, um, I'll say this, my experience, and I've had female leadership from management. The last one was phenomenal.
Mm.
You want to talk about somebody that can change the temperature of the room
Yeah.
just by her demeanor? It was my last manager. A person that you could come into her office, I mean, excited, got a lot of energy going on, and she could bring you, okay, boom, let's get to a good level, and then we can clearly hash this thing out. So she had the ability of it was a motherly kind of quality. Like, okay, let's relax.
Mm.
Let's look at this from a holistic standpoint. And I think from if that would have been a man, it wouldn't have been received like that.
Mm.
I think it probably would have been received more as trying to take over or trying to just tell you what to do. I think women are a little bit more empathetic in their leadership roles
Gross.
than men are. Yeah, because even if you look at the household, I'm finna whoop them. Now don't whoop them. They're more empathetic in the household. There's another softer solution. Let's. So I think that would be their superpower.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Do you think that different cultures
Mm,
affect how they run households? Because I know I believe it's the Indian culture. Like most people recognize when you have a question about the household, you do not approach the woman at all. You immediately ask the man. If you're
mm,
approaching their door and you're wanting, you know, to ask about maybe you're trying to sell some security equipment or something, you don't speak to the woman.
mm, hmm.
You request the man of the household and speak to him.
I think also individuals have to determine what leadership is for them. Because to throw a blanket out there and say this is what leadership is,
Yeah.
it doesn't fit everybody. So for me, the way that I defined leadership in a relationship was the ability to create trust through action. That
Wow.
removes worry and doubt. So I'll ask you, is your husband a leader?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I would say you answered that because he has done enough in the past to let you know that whatever situation comes up, he will be able to handle it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And
that,
I didn't agree with some of it, but as the leader of the household, I humbled myself and I let him make that decision.
and so now, years in, you don't have a problem with his leadership because there have been enough instances that he has done the right thing, that
Yeah.
he has shown you, even though you didn't agree last time, babe, watch this. And it panned out. So through action, that trust was gained.
Mm,
Let's go back to what I said about Kamala. We have not seen any action. So
mm,
I don't trust what she's going to do because I don't know what she's going to do.
yeah.
Right? So leadership is also not just a gender role. Because let me ask you this question: who spends more times with the girls?
I do.
So when it comes to the girls, guess who's the leader? You. So he does have to be a little bit flexible to say, okay, I know she spends a little bit more time with him than I do. So let her take the lead
Right.
on this thing. I'm here for support. I'm here to offer a different perspective. Or if I just need to make a decision, I'll do it. But we've got to understand leadership is flexible because, okay, he don't go in the kitchen either. Hey, we want to cook some food. You're the leader in the kitchen. I'm going to follow you in the kitchen. So wherever the strength is in the relationship, that's where the leadership goes. But I think overall, they look for the man to be the overall leader.
Can there be two leaders? Can you
Hmm.
co-lead?
Yeah, yeah. But at the end of the day, somebody has to ultimately make a decision. Same thing. So I'm in a co-parenting situation, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, she spends more time with my daughter. My daughter lives with the mom. So when we talk, I shut up. I listen because she has all of the information that I need. I can't go off of how I feel versus what she knows.
Mm,
So I let her lead me in that conversation. But then when we get in front of those school administrators, now I'm leading because I have the information.
for sure.
So and I mean it works phenomenally. So I think the co-leadership, it should be co-leadership until a clear leader has to make a decision.
What do you think the future
Mm.
looks like for households? Do you think we'll still have the men leading the household mainly, and at least in when we're speaking of two, dual income heterosexual relationship? Do you think it will
Mm.
look like it does now?
Uh, I think so. I think there are enough people that desire. to have what we consider traditional households. I mean, even now, we joke about, these first date things and this and that. Guess what? It look like leadership. If he's got the money, I want him to do this. Right? Now, the issue is not everybody has the money, but I guarantee you, all that stuff that these women are asking from these guys, there are women that are getting that and more because they are playing their support role and he's leading them and he doesn't mind doing that. So I mean, it's give and take. It's reciprocity. I don't need you to give me what I give you. Just give me what I need. And I think the leadership discussion, I think it'll cease at that point if we just understand we are in support roles with one another. We talk about submission. What gender do we talk about when we hear that word?
It's mainly women.
But I believe that good book says, husbands, submit to your wives. So it's 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 a thing where people are not paying attention to what the truth is, and people are taking things and forming them for themselves. If you tell a man to submit, it's gonna be an argument. But it's right there because you're worried about how it sounds, how somebody else is gonna, I don't know, have an opinion of you. You're gonna feel weak because men don't submit. Well, okay, try that out and let me know how it works out for you. You're gonna submit to somebody or something.
Something. Yeah. I preach.
I give you an example of leadership. You ever see the IG skit where the guy's walking and the woman, they pan over to the woman and she's like, la, 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 la. That is a perfect example of leadership. So they're walking arm in arm. They walk into a store and the guy automatically goes, doom, doom. Okay, there's the exit, there's the back exit, there's the restroom, there's three men walking this way, there are four men walking that. So he's scanning the room. Her brain is turned off. She's just la 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 la. That's what leadership is. The ability to allow her to do that because I've got everything else taken care of. You can turn your brain off. That's leadership. Now, let's reverse that in the home. I just got home from work. The kids are in there crying. They're wet. They need to be changed. But she takes care of that. I can turn my brain off of that. So there is the dynamic that we are here to help each other. Now, I went back when I got the question, I went back to why was woman created? Right? Because we talking about leadership. And I said, okay, well, let's get back to the crux of this thing then. The second chapter of the first book
Come on.
of the good book says, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helper.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is what the role is, right? That was the purpose of the creation, right?
Agree.
Then when the serpent incident happened, and this is in the book too, it says that her desire will be to rule over the man.
Hmm. Mm.
The more you know, right? So the things that we are seeing are not so far-fetched if you pay attention. Now, because we have that knowledge, we should be using that knowledge to stop what's going on, but we can't. It's got way too out of hand. Like we can't stop it.
Yeah. Agree. Yeah. Wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. And it, so people don't think. or assume, because a lot of people assume, and a lot of times they don't clearly hear what we're communicating. And, we're not saying that women can't be
Right.
heads of the households or leaders, because I mean, God created us to do great things um in his name.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of those great things include being leaders.
Absolutely.
I wholeheartedly believe that we can definitely be leaders in certain aspects. Um, we do, I think we do exceptionally well. There are other aspects in leadership in which we could use some help in, and that's just primarily because we don't have the experience.
Hmm.
Um, but don't I don't want anybody to take it away that we are saying that women can't.
No, no, no,
We
not at all.
totally agree with you that we women can
Absolutely.
definitely be leadership and heads of the households. My as you indicated earlier, should they? Can they? Do they? Me? I already know. I don't want it. I don't
And
want
see,
that responsibility.
I, I love that coming from that side, right? So coming from the marriage side, got kids, got a family. Hey, you know what? I don't want those problems. Now, there's a woman out there that's single, maybe have kids, and she's doing it all. But guess what? She says, I don't want that life either. But the issue is she has to have that life.
Oh yeah.
And when a guy comes in, or a woman, whatever the case is, when someone and another partner comes in, they can't turn that off, even though they don't want to have to do that. And that, I think, is where the conflict happens. And out of nothing more than habit, they want to keep doing it.
Hmm.
Logically, I don't want to keep doing this, but out of habit, I can't let it go. So, I mean, I was in a relationship with a lady. She had a yard man, and I was like, "Hey, you know what? We together. You know what? You don't need a yard man next year, next season, because it was almost the end of the cutting season, whatever." And she had a lawnmower in her garage that didn't work, whatever the case was, right?
Yeah.
And I was there sometimes when the yard man was there, and she would stand at the window, look out at the window, like, "Oh, I don't like that he did that. Oh, he's leaving too much grass," or "Oh, he did this." And I said, "Hey, you're paying him. Go out there and tell him." She's like, "Oh, no, it's okay." It's not okay if you're complaining about it.
Yeah.
Fast forward, next season comes around. I take the broken lawnmower in her garage to get it fixed, bring it back. I'm now the yard man. I'm cutting the yard. What do I get? "Oh, can you cut right there? Can you do it that way? Can you raise it up this way?" And I just stopped and looked, and like you can't let that go. And then it got to the point, well, I want to do it.
Mhm.
Why? You were perfectly fine paying someone to do it, but you have a problem with a man that you're in a relationship with doing it for free. Can't make it up. So, out of habit, naturally wanting to be in control of the situation.
Yeah.
I don't, I couldn't come up, and I can't come up with any other explanation for it. She was in control of him cutting the yard, which was cool. She
Mhm.
didn't say anything, but she was still in control of it.
Yeah.
Now that I'm cutting the yard, now you've got all these stipulations, so you can still have that control. It doesn't either you want to do this or you don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leadership is a fickle thing if you don't understand it. I don't think people are. You're not always meant to lead. People think you lead from the front. You actually should lead from behind, because when you're leading from behind, you can see everything,
Ah,
and you've got everybody in front of you to give you some feedback. So a
yeah.
lot of people, they just want to be the head, and they just want to. Yeah, that's cool. I'll be back. I was the smartest guy in the back of the class. I was never that guy that sat up on the front row. Teacher knew my name. I was in the back with the clowns, and we was ranking and joking, and I was disturbing class, but I was smart. I led from the back of the room.
From the back of the room.
I could see everything. So real leaders understand that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Huh. We got to understand what leadership is about. We got to
Yeah.
understand what leadership is about. Um, so it's time for us to go ahead into the free game of the week. So, free, what do you have for us this week?
Y'all, this week we are about to roll the calendar over to the month of August, which
Hmm.
means we have a couple of months before we have to make the biggest decision of our lives every 4 years. Election day is coming. We know who our candidates are. You might not like either one of them, whatever your reasons are, but I urge you, you have enough time, you have months.
Yes.
Do your research. Figure out who is for you the lesser of the two evils. All
Mhm.
right. Um, I don't agree with everything Kamala has done. I don't agree with everything Trump has done. But I have to figure out what's best for me, my family, and what candidate supports that. If you don't support either one of those candidates, your research will lead you to other independent candidates. There's a guy that I absolutely love from an intelligence standpoint that is running for president. Dr. Cornel West is running for president. Now, I need to do my research, but I know I have another viable option. I know there's another option that I have something in common with.
Mhm.
So don't do nothing and complain about the result. Do the research, make a decision. That's the best that you can do. Is to at least make a decision. Free game.
Well, and I am definitely one of those who's thinking like I don't want to vote, but but it is definitely my duty as a Christian and as a black woman. Uh, I need to go and do it, like you said. So I'm going to take this time to do my research and, like you said, make informed decisions.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, and
Yep.
if you make this informed decision, make your local election informed decisions too.
Very much
Those are the ones
so.
that really matter.
Most the biggest impact on you from at a local level. You're right. Very
Yeah,
much so.
because we elected our guy, and then the new guy came in there and said the guy that we liked got the city broke. So do your research.
Y'all heard it here. Well, thank you all for joining us this afternoon. We hope you all, or evening if you're watching this replay, and we hope you all have a great week. We'll see y'all later.